What's up, y'all? So today we are going to get into the whole Billy Carson, Wes Huff situation. And if you don't know who either of these gentlemen are, that's okay, because neither do I. But I do know that their names have been going around the internet everywhere on social media. So let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Beauty by Jen. If you have or if you haven't been here, welcome either way. So right now I'm about to run a few clips so you know who Billy Carson is, and then you know who Wes Huff is and what they both represent. They are very much on opposite ends of the spectrum, and you will see that here.
Billy Carson is attempting to sue me.
David was talking about how the angels that we've been told about from being kids in school were actually aliens, and getting into your content and seeing how far down the rabbit hole you've gone and how intelligent and well researched you are, it really brought it to life. And I'm just looking forward to my audience reacting to what you've got to say, mate. So kind of, if you could start off by giving us a little bit about you and the research you've been doing and where you're at right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously, my name is Billy Carson. I'm the founder of 4-Bit Knowledge with the number 4. It's not a gang sign, by the way. And you got to say that these days. Everybody, I got so many messages about are you a Mason? No, it's 4-Bit Knowledge. But anyway, I was born in New York, 1971. We came down to Miami, Florida to live. I was outside in my backyard one day just playing around, flipping around in the grass, looking up at the sky, watching airplanes go over from the private airport. And this object comes across, but it wasn't what I knew to be a plane. Even at the age of 7, I knew it didn't have a fuselage, a tail, a cockpit, and wings. Those are kind of the main, things you need for an airplane. And this thing cleared the horizon in my backyard. It went across in seconds, not minutes. A normal plane would just kind of go across, looking from our perspective on the ground, kind of slow. And even I knew as a kid, it went too fast. And I was like, whoa, what did I see? Then it came back and then it just stopped. Only now I can estimate about 200 meters above my head, completely silent, almost a complete egg shape, but slightly less than an egg oval, glowing metal. And it went the way it came in. I mean, just blink, it's gone. And I ran in the house. I told my mom, she was just telling me, she said advanced beings existed in the ancient past. And she started telling me about Machu Picchu. She said they used to live on tops of mountains. This is in the 70s. Wow. My mom told me this. And she didn't discourage me about the information whatsoever, but nobody else really wanted to talk about it. But the next day I went to my school, Rainbow Park Elementary, and I started researching from the Encyclopedia Britannica that day, all the aerospace information, swept wing, delta wing. I looked for ballistics, intercontinental ballistics. I mean, I went to everything, experimental planes. They were even talking about back then in the 70s, the potential for the shuttle program back then. So I started digging into aerospace. I became kind of a quasi aerospace historian. And that rabbit hole of looking into all these declassified types of aircraft just took me down a million rabbit holes over the years, which got me into studying, advanced technologies, of course, black budgeted technologies, which then took me into ancient civilizations because, in my opinion, some type of tech created those ancient sites, which led me down so many more rabbit holes into ancient tablets, inscriptions, papyrus, cylinder scrolls. I've now traveled the world over 30 times. I've been to a lot of ancient sites and places and met with indigenous wisdom keepers all around the world. Gone through over 1,000 books, papyruses, scriptures, cylinder scrolls, and ancient texts from everywhere you could think of. Spent countless hours out in the desert, walkabouts in the outback with aboriginals. I've done it all. And so I've been able to come up with a lot of my hypothesis and conclusion based on a lot of firsthand research and a lot of scholarly research as well that have happened over many decades.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited today to have this interview with my friend Wesley Huff. Some of you might remember him when I think we interviewed him last year. Me and Doreen had him on to talk about the reliability of the Bible. He's a wealth of knowledge in this area. And I asked him a few weeks ago if he could come on to my channel to talk about specifically the Council of Nicaea, because Wesley, you had made a post a few weeks ago, and I was so intrigued with it because it was basically correcting the Council of Nicaea, that giving the correct history to what happened at the Council of Nicaea. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to addressing this and any other topics that come up.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get started, I think it's really important that people kind of know your background, your educational background, your theological background, just real briefly. Can you tell us why you are somebody that has some sort of authority in this subject?
Yeah, for sure. I am very much a student, but I have my BA in sociology from York University here in Canada. I'm a Canuck, so I'm a little north of the border, but I have a BA in sociology from York University, and then I did a master's in theological studies with a concentration in, they call it Christian foundations, but I focused on the early church history and development, particularly in the streams pertaining to the history of the New Testament text. And I'm currently a PhD student at the University of Toronto, focusing on that area, looking at early writing communities, concentrating on the Christian communities and sort of how the New Testament spread throughout the ancient world, and doing a little bit of comparing and contrasting with some of the other literate communities like the Gnostics and some of the Roman book trade that was going on at the time. So that area of church history, talking about what happened after Christ died and how Christianity spread in writing and oral communities, is very much within my wheelhouse.
So we are all like, so what's the problem? They're both doing their things. Well, this is the problem. They both just recently had a debate, these two titans who both are well respected in their fields. And it didn't go so well for one of them, because now they're saying he is a liar and fraudulent and doesn't really have real facts and is just pretty much making stuff up. I'm not saying that. That's what the people are saying. So let's take a look.
And you didn't like that you got exposed. And because you got exposed for knowing nothing about Christianity, you freaked out. You freaked out so much that you were knocking at my client's door at 2:30 a.m. in the morning.
Now I got to handle that situation.
With legal papers, acting like you have the power to enforce some type of "you got served." You guys, this is the type of person Billy is. Like, he does have a brain injury, so maybe there is something like literally wrong with him. I don't know. But this is like crazy behavior.
Billy Carson is attempting to sue me. For those of you who don't know, I was invited to interact with Billy on a podcast that he agreed to come on. It was not his podcast, where he was notified beforehand who I was and what we'd be talking about. After that debate took place, Billy attempted to suppress the footage. That didn't really work. I've released clips from that conversation. Well, Billy does not want you to see those clips and has sent me a cease and desist letter. I was really hoping that this could be an opportunity for Billy to learn, to see the major errors that he's been repeating and turn this into a learning experience. I even offered to follow up with Billy in order to show him how and where he could find accurate and credible resources in order to make sure that what he was saying was verifiably correct going forward in the future, so he and his audience could learn and proceed knowledgeably. Billy did not agree. But unfortunately for Billy, agreeing to a debate, losing that debate, and feeling embarrassed about that loss does not constitute legitimate grounds to litigate. Billy, I will agree to all the terms and conditions of the cease and desist letter that you have sent me if you agree to run it back, sit down with me in person, and have another discussion. This is my formal response.
Yes, the debate freaking took place with Billy Carson and Wesley Huff. Yeah. Can't go on. Right, we can do a follow-up.
I really appreciate it, Billy. Thanks so much for interacting.
2 weeks ago, my good man Billy Carson sat right here next to me in person, and we pulled online from Canada Wesley Huff, and we had a healthy conversation and debate about some of our different beliefs.
You actually believe that the majority of Christians really believe that God is not masculine, that God is has both aspects?
It's irrelevant what the majority of Christians believe. What historical biblical Christianity articulates is what they should believe.
I had a follow-up from him immediately after the show, basically asking me not to air the show.
This is a sadistic narcissist. Let's take a look at some of the traits and see if we can compare them to this quote unquote God of the Bible. Because a lot of these people are just ignorant poor people. You know, they're just poor people. I'm not a Joe Schmo 9-to-5 worker bee. 5 AC units, and I don't even know which one of them is acting up. I normally take the elevator upstairs. You know, I've had a chef for 10 years and they like the food from coming over and eating the food at our house. And now they share our chef. You know, we are hopping off of a private jet. We relaxed in a huge 8,500 square foot mansion with our best friends on a tiny private island. I'm actually sleeping in my movie theater in my house. I have a movie theater. I'm sleeping in the movie theater.
But what really set fans off was his blatant mockery about those who he deemed poor, especially 9-to-5 workers.
This is what they try to do when you get famous. You see? I let a lot of it slip because a lot of these people are just ignorant poor people. You know, they're just poor people. They're just ignorant. So I let a lot of it, you know, whatever, man. These people are just poor dummies. You know, what can you do? I make more money than rappers. I'm not a Joe Schmo 9-to-5 worker bee. You thought I was just some dumb black guy that just happened to get a little lucky with a couple of clips online and gain some popularity. Like Kendrick Lamar say, they not like us. The money that you thought you were making and the popularity you thought you were making is all going to be spent on attorney's fees. And I don't care if I win or lose. I just want you to spend money. And being in that weakened state, which he knew he caught me at one of my most weakest states. He saw how I only weighed 206 pounds. And again, I was so sick and ill, to be quite honest with you. Maybe I did bumble my words a couple times with the Sinai Bible or the Barnabas text. It's quite possible. I thought we were having a casual conversation on spirituality, and I wasn't really even fully in my right mind. I just almost died a few days before going to his house, literally. And so he took advantage of that. Come back to the house. I'm extremely angry and I'm extremely frustrated that I wasn't able to contact him. His phone was in like do not disturb mode. So I tried to call first. I tried to call him like 4 or 5 times, evidenced in my phone records. I texted him 5 or 6 times. I also texted him a copy of my do not consent, and I WhatsApped him a copy of my do not consent form. I'm not the same almost half dead person that you tried to talk to a few weeks ago. I've gotten my clear mind back. My brain fog is gone. My body weight's coming back. I'm lifting and working out every single day. I'm getting stronger by the second. I'm not that weak, sick person that just almost died. That was in the hospital, coming on a show on a video feed with a IV bandage on, literally fresh off the IV tree, the big tree with all the different IV bags and all the antibiotics and everything else dripping into my body. Fresh off the bag. I'm in the studio out of boredom, really, but brain fog, tired, exhausted, can't breathe. I only got about 2 more weeks of recovery left from this pneumonia, and I'll be full strength. Mark gets this guy on the live feed, and he says, "Hey, we're gonna have a little debate." I'm like, "A debate?" He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna talk about this, your perspective of religion and stuff and so on, whatever." And I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, and then what they did was they're pretty slick. So every time I had something really important to say or a deep question to ask, defendant number 2 video would just magically disconnect. Boop, he's off again. Oh man, he's off again. I don't know what happened. The first time it happened, I was like, that's strange, because it didn't happen when he was talking, and his video was very clear and crisp, like almost 4K. I might have bumbled the Barnabas text for the Sinai text or whatever. It doesn't really matter. What matters is I never got a chance to answer any questions or get my voice heard. That's what really matters. But now I'm trying to ask my question. I'm getting overridden with other texts, other words from defendant number 1. He's overriding what I'm trying to say, everything I've got to ask. He's talking over me. I'm the person that's supposed to be in this debate. I can't even get a word in. And as soon as I say one thing, the other guy, defendant number 2, he's overriding and talking over me. I'm just sitting there patiently, just quiet. So I saw Dan at that moment. I realized, oh, this is a contrived setup video to make me look like I'm some type of dummy and I don't know what I'm talking about. So they can go bragging to all their Christian buddies and friends in their cult and, oh, he didn't know the answer to these 2 questions. Not a video of me speaking in Korean.
안녕하세요, 여러분. 저는 빌리 카슨입니다. 포비든 노랫개로도 알려.
Very easy to do. In the Sinai Bible, it appeared that Jesus had never been crucified. I said it's quite possible that Jesus was never crucified. Not once anywhere does say Jesus was never crucified. It says quite possible that Jesus was never crucified, or he might not have been crucified, depending on what podcast I was on. You can tell this was written for me. No, I'm taking this from the source, Mr. Whoever you are in the live chat. Of course, this is cut and pasted from the direct source, from actual academic books. I'm not giving you this off my dome. I'm reading academic books. Come on now, tune in, get your head on right.
This is not basic IQ stuff. It's a sadistic narcissist. Let's take a look at some of the traits and see if we can compare them to this quote unquote God of the Bible. If your God of the Bible is so powerful, why does he need to kill everybody and have all these wars? You're all knowing, all powerful, all omnipotent, yet you can't stop one brother from killing the other one. Till this very day, been heavily manipulated to the point where you don't even know who the hell you are. It's really scary that there's that many NPCs walking around on this planet. Drones. You people are drones, man. No empathy. I gave you the definition of that earlier. Sadistic narcissism, lack of empathy, controlling, quick to anger, jealous, envious. I am a jealous God. Didn't he say that? Some of you will, some of you won't. Some of you will still be stuck in believing the current ideology and dogma that you've been fed. How come I can see that and understand that, but you guys can't? And you're wrapped up in the actual religion itself. Church itself obfuscates or suppresses information or changes things or forces things to not be released. Trying to put together a global network for one man, that's how scared you are of me? You guys are horrified of Billy Carson, aren't you? You're horrified. We got to end this guy. He's too big. You can't take down a self-made man. They have to network with hundreds of thousands of people all over the world to supposedly end Billy Carson's career. Not only are they not ending my career, they're making me more famous because they call my name out every 5 minutes. I'm on their tongue and their lips every minute of the day. When they go to sleep, they dream about me. When they wake up, the first thing they do before they kiss their wife or their boyfriend, they talk about me. They post me and call my name 24 hours a day, nonstop. They're absolutely infatuated with me. And nobody puts out more volume of videos and content than I do. Not nobody in the world. Not one single person. Oh, I got all the information. You think you have a big organization. What you don't know is you don't have as big an organization as you think. You got a lot of followers, which are just sheep. But I have people everywhere on the planet. I touch a percentage of the planet every day. Me, one man. One man. I touch a percentage of the planet. You guys haven't even come close to that. The RCMP, the BPD, the CAFC. Fortunately, I have fans in those places. You just never know when you're poking a real bear. So I want to thank these gangbangers for creating all this controversy and all this energy and stirring it up and then sending it to me because I'm taking it. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
And he consistently bragged about his connections to powerful people, threatening lawsuits and implying an untouchable status.
You think your cult is so huge and so massive. I've got people in every area of politics. And yes, I still call them polytricksers, but I've got people in politics. I've got people in three-letter agencies. They come on tour with me. I've got people in government. I've got people in countries, powerful people that support. I've got billionaires. I've got billionaires' numbers on my cell phone. Billionaires that I can just call right now and have casual conversations with. I hang out with them. We've got voice recordings of conversations that you guys have been putting out there. See, you don't know who's on the other end of that phone that supports us. You think they're supporting you. You never know when you're going to poke a bear. But the original video that I did not consent to, I'll be paid my pound of flesh for every appearance that it shows up on the entire internet. I will be. Trust me on this. Or there'll be judgments. And when you go to buy a house or when you go to sell something, when you go to do anything, I'll have to get paid first. And I'm going to take all of that money, all those winnings, and I'm going to buy a huge strip of land. Me and my wife already figured it out today. We're going to buy a huge strip of land and we're going to build mini homes on there for homeless people with all the.
So there you have it. That's everything in a nutshell. I will be playing the debate in its entirety so that you can watch it if you haven't, or if you want to watch it again and give your thoughts and your opinions on the entire thing. I am very much Team Jesus. Anything that God said, I don't care how crazy it sounds, I'm going with it. So I'm not judging anyone who has their own beliefs. So like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.